Hello and welcome back to the morning show. I'm Melissa Farley and we're here at the fabulous Arizona Center. Today I am joined by one of my Women 360 sisters, Ayan, who has her own company called Wisteria Bookkeeping. And I know this seems like such a stodgy, serious topic, but wait until you meet Ayan. She is full of energy, so bright, so remarkable at what she does, and she will make you totally comfortable talking about your books. Good morning. So I think one of the things people don't really think about a lot is that selfishly, we love having guests on like Ayan because we are a small business. We are only about a year old and we're still growing, we're still evolving, we're still learning, and we definitely could use all of the help and resources that these guests come on and share their expertise. So bookkeeping, I think, is something that is a challenge and maybe a problem point for a lot of new businesses. It's not something that you often think about right away. You're kind of like, oh, I should probably, handle this at some point. And then maybe you don't because it just gets so wild and crazy that you feel ashamed to kind of bring someone in at that point. Well, that's where Ayan comes in. She is just super accessible, super warm, will talk to you like the wonderful human that you are and help you kind of get everything squared away and have you feeling confident and in control of your books. So we're excited to have her here today. If you have questions for Ayan or want to reach out, have stuff that you'd like to share for resources, you can do so by sending us an email at hello@onthemorningshow.com or on Instagram at onthemorningshow. Hello and welcome to the morning show. I'm Melissa Farley and we are here at the fabulous Arizona Center. And I've got so much joy and delight sitting next to me. I can't wait another second to introduce you to her. This is Ayan with Wisteria Bookkeeping. Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, so when I hear bookkeeping, I usually think of someone very serious and very serious things all around.
Yep.
But here you are.
I know.
So vibrant and lovely. But tell us about your business.
Okay, so she was definitely born out of a big career pivot, for sure.
Yeah.
I worked in corporate America. I actually worked in the travel industry for a really long time.
Okay.
And then there was a reorg, and I found that there was a time for me to help my community. And I realized that that looks different to different people. And I realized that for me, I could help my community and local businesses through numbers and organization, which I don't think very many people think of at first.
No. Nope.
And for me, because I actually knew someone who had started her own bookkeeping business as well. And even when I spoke to her the first time, I had the same kind of preconceived notions as you had mentioned, like, oh, maybe a little bit stuffy, maybe a little bit one tone. So I thought I could shake it up.
Yeah.
Because I do like the organization and I do want to see what I can do for other businesses out there, especially since I grew up in Chandler. I've been here since 2000.
Wow.
I went to high school in Mesa, so I want to give back to my community.
I'm in Chandler.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where my mom is, and
Okay.
it's always got a special place in my heart. So now, especially seeing all of these small businesses popping up and thriving in the area, I want to empower them, especially to be owned by owners of color, women, LGBTQ. Yeah. I'm trying to empower those businesses, especially to bring them into the room and they can make these strong financial decisions.
I love that. Yeah. And it's funny, I was reading the email about you and what you wanted to talk about today, and I was like, she's calling me out. I am getting called. No, because I feel like you would be horrified, like, to know how I handle my books for my businesses. But I feel like kind of what you said earlier, that's such a common thing, especially when you're first starting out. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost like I can't believe I'm actually making money. I'll get to it later of like how to actually handle it. But I'm curious, kind of, how do you first start out with somebody that maybe doesn't even know like what to do? Like, what is step one?
So for me, step one is always having that first call and that first conversation where I lay it on very thick that everything's going to be okay. And for me, 9.9 times out of 10, people who do tell me, I'm so sorry for how my books look. I haven't touched it in years. It's probably so horrible.
Yeah.
Judgment-free zone. And it's almost never as bad as you think it is. I think it's just that some people get turned off by numbers, which is totally fair.
Yeah.
And I think for me, especially coming from an artistic background, and I love working with creative entrepreneurs, we kind of meet halfway, but starting at that point. There is a place for artists, there is a place for creatives, and maybe numbers are a little bit scary right now, but we can demystify it.
Yeah.
And I like to tell people all the time that there's nothing that an open afternoon and a strong enough cup of coffee can't fix. And we can absolutely do it together. And my approach to my work is very relationship forward, very communication forward. So for me, we kind of work at it together. It's not just, oh, she is the bookkeeper, she's the expert, so I'm just going to hand it off. I want you to be part of the conversation too. And I think that that kind of relieves some of that weight as well. So not only are you, like if we were to work together, you're not just thinking, hey, my books are going to be taken care of. You're also going to walk away thinking like, oh, I know what I'm looking at now.
Yeah.
Like we can have that conversation.
Yeah.
So
I'm so glad that you brought that up, because I think this probably happens in lots of areas in life, but you know, people are probably afraid to even make the call or ask for help because they're embarrassed about where they're at. And so even that first phone call of just being like, okay, I know I made a mess of things, here's where I'm at, girl, like help me out, is probably a big challenge just in and of itself for people to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm finding that with a lot of the business owners that I run into, sometimes they don't even know that they should start looking for a bookkeeper. And this is why I do come as I am.
Yeah.
And I am the person that I am, because I don't want people to think that everything is a transaction. We can talk about it organically.
Yeah.
And because I'm my own boss and because I work for myself, a lot of my emails are incredibly informal because this isn't supposed to be scary.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many times I've started an email with, hey girl, hey. Hey girl, hey, where are your receipts at? And it's fine. Like, it's going to be okay. Bookkeeping is necessary, but everyone's like a very legitimate business and a legitimate business owner. You're never too small to lay that foundation, which is something I like to tell people as well.
Okay, are you ready for a 101 question?
Sure.
Well, and here, because I hear this a lot when I'm like out at conferences or speaking at events and things, the difference between bookkeeping and payroll and the roles there.
So with payroll, that's specifically talking about your compensation outwards, right? So that could be your contractors if you're doing that. That could be your W-2s. Bookkeeping can encompass that, but bookkeeping is also, I call it the putting the pretty bow on everything, especially in front of tax season. It's more than that, but as like a huge overhead, very top-down kind of thing, we want to put everything in its place. So payroll can be an aspect of it, and there are some clients that I do that for. But what I also like to tell my clients is that when you get me, you also get my very strong network and my very strong team of people that I work with. And I think that's one of the beautiful things, especially here in Arizona, at least that I've found, is connecting with other people in your industry. I've connected with so many other bookkeepers and so many other accountants, CPAs, tax preparers, and we all just kind of support each other, because this is one of those industries where there's no way that you can sit down and learn every single aspect of it.
Yeah.
So you're not just getting my knowledge base, you're getting so many other people. And I do have people who are specifically geared towards payroll, and we can connect you with that. But yeah, so payroll specifically, or taxes, that's another one that I get, is what's the difference between an accountant and a bookkeeper. That's a huge one. Some people may think that that's interchangeable, and that's not always the case. So like I myself, I don't do taxes. But again, I do have referral partners in the area that are trusted, and they have their strengths. So when it comes to making sure everything is in place and that you are literate with your finances, with your business, that's where I jump in. If you want to talk about perhaps deeper analysis, or how to use that information and what you can do with that information, that's probably something you want to talk to your accountant about.
Yeah, I do think that's interesting because, again, right, like I'm just running my business. I'm not really thinking about numbers and all that stuff. And so I remember when I went to my accountant last year, he was like, you have a problem. It's a good problem. You made too much money, and I think we should think about turning you into an S corp. And I was like, what is that? Like I had no idea that this was an option that existed. And so it's things like that, that I feel like having an expert to guide you, because that's not my forte. That's not where I want to be spending my time, and my energy figuring that out. If I can have somebody who already knows all of that kind of stuff, So that's where you come in.
Absolutely. And I like to be that sort of liaison between like your left and right brain. Right? So sometimes the way I talk to my clients too is kind of putting it in English, I suppose. The financial jargon I like to get away from. Because even for me, that can be intimidating sometimes.
Totally.
So I'm a color coder. I like to put things in spreadsheets and kind of clean things up, because I want to give you what is important to you. And that's the other thing as well. So I can give you a bunch of numbers, but if it's not the type of things that you want to track, if it's not the things that you're curious about, what are you going to do with that information?
So I think you would send in some, speaking of simplifying, us talking about something to kind of help people grasp like the big three. Can we chat about that?
Yes. So for me, and for just about any bookkeeper that you're going to work with, you should be getting 3 major financial reports a month.
Oh, really? Okay.
Ideally a month, depending on your needs. It can come quarterly or things like that. But the 3 big statements that you may hear about, or that maybe other people may ask you for. So for example, there are businesses out there sometimes that need loans because they want to grow or things like that. Then those lenders may ask you, okay, well, can you show me your profit and loss statement? The P&L.
P&L.
Yeah.
Yep, I've heard that. Yep.
So there's the P&L, there's your cash flow statement, and then there's your bank, not your bank statement, your balance sheet.
Okay.
So those are the big 3. Your balance sheet tells you exactly what you have, so your assets, and what you owe. So like your liabilities, those are like your credit cards, loans that you need to pay back. So that's that big picture. And a lot of places will consider that like your health sheet to see how healthy your business is. I consider all of them fairly important when it comes to health, because they all kind of tie into each other. So your balance sheet will be your assets and your liabilities and your equity. So your equity is what a lot of people would consider like your net worth. So that's what you have minus what you owe. So that'll give you kind of a snapshot of that. Your profit and loss, that is what you're bringing in. So I'm not sure if you've heard this term, but I've heard this a lot since going into businesses, your top line and your bottom line. So top line is your revenue and your sales, because it is literally on your profit and loss sheet, the top line. So that's definitely one thing that you want to take a look at to see how much money that you're bringing in. And then your bottom line is your net income. So this is, between those, you're going to see your expenses. So this is a great way. I like to run my reports and separate them out by month. So you can kind of compare from month to month what you're spending your money on to just operate your business. This is where you can see trends. So if you see yourself consistently spending X amount of money on something, that's something to note, because you should recognize your patterns on your spending. If for any reason something is completely off and that's where it's going to show up. So if you see like, oh, I spend about $100 on software every month. So that's my Canva, that's Zoom and all of that stuff. And then you see 1 month it shoots up to $300, then you definitely know there's something you need to dig into. Right. It's not always a problem, but it's something to be mindful of. Yeah. So that's a big one. That one comes up a lot, that in conversations of, okay, well, how are we doing? A lot of people will want to look at that profit and loss statement. Okay. Your cash flow is another snapshot of health, because it shows how liquid your company is. So that'll show you your net income, and it's your operating activities, investing activities, and your financing activities. Okay. So that's when you have that net income, where else is that money potentially going? Okay. To keep track of all of that stuff. And for your cash flow, it's super important to see at the bottom of that, are you positive or negative? Yeah. Do you actually have more cash? Do you have enough cash to be operating, or do we maybe need to take a look at things? Yeah. So those are the big three. And for me, I understand that it can still be really intimidating. So that's one of those things that I offer my clients as well. If there's anything in any reports and you want to go through line by line, we can talk about it. Yeah. Because I think that's super important. And sometimes that's the best way to learn your own numbers right in front of you, kind of going over it.
I think I'm like learning and accepting how just avoidant I am of that kind, right? Because it's like, I'm thinking about it and I'm like, anxiety, like I'm feeling it, you know. But at the same time, it's like, well, why? Like, I don't know that I actually have anything to be afraid of, but just the idea of having it all in front of me makes me be like, ooh, I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. But one of the things I want to chat with you about too, that you had mentioned, and I think for us is really important, because we partner with this company called Retail Therapy. They work with like 300 different local vendors, and a lot of them have a high season and a low season. Yes. You know, so the holidays, really good time for them. Summer, really challenging period for them. And you said that there's kind of a different way you can manage your bookkeeping during those different kinds of seasons.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So I work, because of who I work with a a lot of people in the wedding industry. So for example, and they definitely experience a huge busy season and then a lull, as you can imagine. Right. Not a whole lot of people in Arizona are trying to get married outside in July. What? No, I know. Yeah. It's not unheard of, but it's not very common. So one of the things that I try to tell these clients is to be mindful of that. So you want to ask yourself some major questions, such as, when is my slow season? Right. When is my peak season? How much of a difference in average income am I seeing between the two? Yeah. And for me, I like to have a separate account as like a cash reserve. Right. So during those peak seasons, I would identify, for example, how much does it cost you to operate your business comfortably for a month? Right. Identify that number. Yeah. And then tell yourself, okay, let's say slow season is 2 or 3 months out of the year. For a safety net, I should probably save 2 to 3 months. Not to say that your cash flow is going to go to zero during slow season, but just in case. Right. You know, so you want to take some of that extra that comes in during peak season and sort of set that aside. That's going to be one of the biggest helpers.
And it sounds so obvious when you say it, but then I'm thinking about like, I bet a lot of people don't do that and don't forward plan for that kind of situation, and it's so necessary for sustainability.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. And for me, after that cash reserve, there's also that big word that I think a lot of people, both personally and professionally, can be really intimidating, which is budget. Boo. No. I know. I'm like, it is my birthday tomorrow, so do I feel like
happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yay.
But I definitely want to go shopping after this. So is it in my budget or not? But you should always have a budget for your business as well, to allow yourself kind of that cushion and see where those cushions can sort of be moved around depending on what season that you're in. So I would always keep that in mind when you decide, hey, I have this huge influx of cash flow because it's peak season. How much of that should I be putting in the reserve versus how much of that could I potentially be using to feed back into the business for growth? So that's another thing to be mindful of. Yeah. So for example, something to think about is maybe new headshots or new marketing photo shoots that you may want to do for your business. As long as your business can handle putting aside your reserve still, then I would definitely say that's the best time for you to do it.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to be caught during your slow season of like, oh my goodness, we haven't purchased new marketing materials in a really long time. Maybe we should go do that now, when it's not really realistic.
Right. Yeah.
So that's definitely one of the things to be mindful of. And for me, I also like to tell my business, especially perhaps in the retail space, this might be really helpful, is during the slow season, maybe have promotions to kind of bring in people. So that's where you see like, oh, summer sale.
Yeah.
This is when you want to bring those types of things in, potentially to increase or build and strengthen your pre-existing customer relationships.
Yes.
So like loyalty programs, that's a really great time to invest in your loyalty programs to keep the people who already know and love you to come back and tell more people about you.
Well, you have just dropped so much good knowledge and valuable help for small business owners today. I want you to share right into that camera where people can contact you. Yeah, learn more about you and hopefully work with you. Yeah.
Okay, so hi. I'm Ayan. I work with Wisteria Bookkeeping. You can find me on Instagram primarily. That's usually where I live, at Wisteria Bookkeeping. That's a great way to contact me, see what I'm about, and you can always reach out, either DMs, I'm cool with that, or you can actually schedule a consultation call directly with me and we can check out your books and see what's going on.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
Yeah. She really is as fabulous as she seems, by the way, so you can trust it. We have been so thankful to learn about bookkeeping in a very non-threatening way, so that was fabulous too. And we hope that you keep it right here. We've got more good things coming your way on The Morning Show. So Marshall, I know that you're not necessarily in the film industry, but we are hosting one of our first film events here.
Oh.
Yeah, on October 11th. That is a Saturday. And it is in partnership with the Worldwide Women's Film Festival.
Ah.
Yeah, so we are hosting a workshop here. It is called Lights, Camera, Truth, and it's a fireside chat basically with a filmmaker and producer named Annie Lundgren, who is based out of Oregon. She has started her own distribution platform and company and has been very successful with several feature films. And so we're going to be chatting with her about how to actually get your film that's independently made seen, distributed, sold, all of that. And so and she's such an open book. She's very generous with sharing her knowledge and her experience.
Oh,
so
cool.
it's going to be basically a fireside chat, and then we'll have a little networking time and mixer as well at the workshop, and it's from 4:30 to 6:30 on the 11th.
Okay.
And if you can't come in person, you can actually join on Zoom. We're going to be doing both. So you can just hop on online if you're not able to be here in person. You don't have to be in Arizona to do it.
Oh, cool. So it's going to be virtual.
Yeah. Well, either or. Yeah.
Okay,
And
cool.
so, and also, you don't have to be a woman. A lot of people don't realize that the Worldwide Women's Film Festival is actually all-inclusive.
It is.
They have a focus and spotlight on uplifting women-centric stories, but we still love men, and we would love men to attend and come to the workshop and the festival. And
Well, because I know
all
a
that.
lot of times it's like you get a movie and the distribution is then the hardest part.
Yeah.
Is how do you get it out
Out
there,
there,
to
yeah.
for people to see it.
Yeah.
So that's really cool that that an independent filmmaker has now created this kind of new platform to do that.
Yeah. So,
Very cool.
and it's very affordable. It's $15 for the entire workshop and event, and it's a fundraiser for the film festival. So, it's all going to a good cause and some education programming and stuff like that for the festival. So there you go. Do a good deed and learn something. This next event is actually from a guest that we have had on previously. Yeah, Oakley's Oath. They're doing a fundraiser at the Kendra Scott headquarters in Scottsdale at 12 p.m. also on Saturday the 11th. So you could go to this first and then come to our film workshop.
Day full of good stuff, shopping for a good cause.
Yeah, and basically how this works is you can spend your afternoon in style by spending. You just have to go shopping basically at Kendra Scott, and 20% of all the purchases during the event will go directly to supporting Oakley's Oath's mission. And so, they've got accessories, they've got some great gifts, they've got all sorts of things that will make you feel, I think, a little better about shopping with some purpose here. You can also, kind of like ours is a hybrid event, this one can also be a hybrid event. If you can't make it out, you can shop online. And they have a code, a very complicated code, so hopefully we can include it somewhere other than just me saying that. It's giveback-JTTHG. Why is it that, I wonder? Anyway, use that at checkout, and your proceeds from that purchase will benefit Oakley's Oath. So that's from 12 to 2 p.m. All ages are welcome. Of course, you probably need a parent to be able to use that good old credit card or some cash from the wallet, I would assume. But yeah, and these are viewer submitted events for this segment. And so if you have events that you would like to send in and share, whether it's your event,
yeah, please bring it. I mean, we love to hear from you about what you're doing. How can we support you? And how can they do that? It is Instagram.
On the Morning Show.
At On the Morning Show.
Yeah.
And email is hello@onthemorningshow.com.
Woohoo! You got it today.
Indeed.
So exciting. Yeah, we do love to hear from you, and we really do pay attention to those emails. So send them on over. That's probably the easiest way with events, is so you can send all your event information with links and photos and all that good stuff, so we can get it up and ready for the show. But we hope to see you on October 11th here. I would personally love to have you there. I'll be moderating the panel with Annie, along with one of our other guests that we've had on, Dr. Rory Schmidt, and it's just going to be a wonderful time. So let us know if you have any questions, and hopefully we'll see you there.